I just started, the more I looked at managers, they just looked like hassle. I was a centre forward at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Until I was 17. My first game for Liverpool was a centre forward.
On today's episode of Inside the Game, I speak to a former Premier League defender, international footballer, Champions League winner, and now top Sky pundit. It is Jamie Carragher.
Delighted to say something like Jamie Carragher. We're here in the 1894 Bar and Bistro, Marine, College Road. It's nice. This is.
You had to come to me this
I
time.
had to come to you. To be fair, you have come to us a few times. So it was only fair, and it's nice to get up the studio, to be honest. Before we go into the footy stuff, I watched you on Diary of a CEO, which was brilliant. Brilliant. But I didn't know that you actually had a challenge right at the start of your life, which was the gastro. How to say gastro?
Gastro skeeters.
Skeeters, yeah. I did not know this, and I had a little look. It affects 300 babies a year. So you were obviously one in a 300, the small thingy. But what kind of challenges, or if any, did that present you as you were as a child, even just after
Nothing really.
Nothing. Oh, amazing.
In terms of physically, nothing like that.
What is it? Well, just for anyone who doesn't know.
It's basically your insides of your stomach are on you're born with them outside basically. Yeah. So, I mean, the big thing for me, I mean, I can't remember, obviously, the first few years of my life, but for me, Mum, she was told through her pregnancy, and we're talking, that would have been 1977.
Yeah.
That there was something wrong, but they didn't know what it was, and she thought, she was told it was spina bifida.
Right, yeah.
And she'd had 2 miscarriages, and my mum was really, still is really holy, goes to church, I mean, and certainly when she was young, she used to go to church every day, and she was a bit like, no, this is what God or our Lord said, you know, my baby's supposed to be like, and I'll go with that, because obviously they asked you, do you want to terminate? I mean, Mum was never going to do that, but the closer it got, it was like, no, it's not spina bifida, but we still don't know what it is.
Right, yeah.
So it was only until, basically, I appeared that they knew what it was, and I was rushed straight to Alderey from, I think it would have been exactly, it would have been, I would imagine. And you think of, speaking to my dad only a few weeks ago about this, that he didn't see, what I'm saying, my mum had just been like sort of gone, and no, sorry, the other way down. So the baby's just been taken away. The baby, it was me.
Yeah, you.
So I've just been whisked right off to Alderey, and my dad's obviously gone with me. And my mum was left in the hospital, not really knowing anything that's sort of going on. And you think of the world we live in now with phones and communication. You can imagine what that must have been like for me mum. You know, first baby and then straight to Alderey. So I was in Alderey for the first 6 weeks of my life. Yeah. So I go there I probably go to Alderey twice a year. Christmas, and we find another, something always comes up. So we go there, so I've got that link with the hospital. And we paid for, myself and the charity paid for, so the ward that looks after babies who have this condition, so we funded that when the new hospital was getting done.
Right.
So, always got that link with Alderey. So, but for me, it was basically, I've got a big scar on my stomach. Really. But in terms of physically or, stopping me, I mean, you might say something different watching derby games, watching me play, but no, nothing really affected me.
Made you more competitive, I think, looking at derby games, So, when's your first memories of playing football then? Like how old you think? Was you just straight into it, kicking? Was your dad kicking a ball with you, or? Yeah,
I mean, I've just got 2 visions as a kid, and one was playing not for the school. It was playing on the field at school, and one being in the Brunswick Boys Club. So the 2 separate ones are. So at the Brunny, I remember going in with my dad. I don't even know how old I must have been. He might have been 6. And there was kids playing who were a bit older than me. My dad said, I can just picture it now. Can he play? You don't want to step on the older lads, you don't want it. And that was the first time I remember in the Brunny playing football. And at school, it must have been top infant, so what would that make you, 6? And it was the first time we'd ever, as a class, gone on the field to play football. And the year above us were on the other pitch. Playing a proper game, almost like, 8-a-side. And we were playing like, he basically was looking after the 2 of them, he's right, you go in goal, and there was one goal,
Run around.
and there was like 10 of us trying to score.
Yeah.
And he was on the other pitch refereeing the game.
Right.
And when he came over, Mr. Rourke it was, when he came over and just sort of kept an eye on us, I just remember him sort of saying to me, you, come onto this pitch. And it's just, I can picture that now. So that was the first time at school and the first time in the Brunei, and that's where I basically learned how to play football in those two. You know, the Brunei was basically over the road from the school, so that's where we grew up,
With the school, did you play the year, as you go through, you're in the school team, did you play the year above? Or...
I played 3 years above.
Did you, yeah? So straight off?
Yeah.
You're a midfielder then as well?
No, centre forward.
Were you? Centre forward?
Yeah. So I would have... So that story I'm telling you about, the year later, I would have been in the first year junior.
Yeah.
And at the end of that year, I started playing for the 4th years. Not playing as in like starting, but I was
involved.
I was coming on for 10 minutes. Yeah. So I would have been... So that was playing with...
Like 7, 8.
I'm just trying to think who was in that team. Neil Loughlin, Tony Garner, Lee MacDonald. They were like the best players in the school team. So they would have been 11. I would have been 7.
That's ridiculous, that.
Yeah. And I used to come on sub for them. And then the year after, I was playing 2 years above. And then I was just a centre forward in the team,
When did it change from centre forward? Because you were a midfielder, weren't you?
I was always centre forward to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a centre forward as a kid for the Mathew Villa in the school.
Yeah.
Little boys.
Yeah.
But the more I played with my own age, the more I wanted to be a midfielder.
To get involved.
It wasn't like, I was like, obviously you only know me playing for Liverpool, but I was always the one who was telling everyone what to do.
Yeah.
And I was just like that as a kid, and I wanted to do everything. So being centre forward and sort of watching what was going on there, I was like, oh,
I've got to go and affect it.
Yeah. And also when I was playing in my own age, because I was a lot better than everyone, I almost couldn't trust them. That's what it felt like. So I wanted to be there. When you're playing 2 years above, the players are on your, I'm sort of getting up to their level.
Yeah.
So you can, I'll just do my job, they can do their job.
Theirs, yeah.
But the longer it went, when I played for my own age group, I'd get so frustrated. And I always remember a school teacher in a cup final. So at my own age group, so I played midfield, and he was saying, I want you to play centre forward in the final and get the goals and all that. So when the teacher said this, as soon as the teacher went out, I just said to the other players, no, once the game starts, you're going up front and I'm going in midfield.
Going against the
orders. That was a 10 or 11, so I was always still, that was, I wasn't just about like me playing well and scoring, I wanted to watch the whole team.
Where's that come from? Did you think that was your dad like that, or was it?
Well, my dad was a manager, an amateur football manager, so I stood with him on the side of the pitch in the early 80s, up around here really.
Yeah.
We're in Crosby now, so that would have been at Chaffers, just up the road, Brookvale, Buckley Hill. So watching them, the Mathew Villa would play on the Sunday, the men's team and the Brunei would play on the Saturday. And that would have been about probably 82, 83, 84. Yeah. Because then 80, 85 I started going to the 84, 85 started going to the match.
Yeah.
The Everton game. So maybe from my dad, but we were obsessed with football. Yeah. It wasn't, I read everything. Like then it was Shoot.
Yeah.
The Shoot magazine, the Match magazine. Well, the Shoot mainly.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get enough of it. So I was always someone who thought about football more than just being good at it.
Yeah.
And
I see kids come and they don't. You can tell they don't think of. They play the game and then they go. Don't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think what helped me as well was watching my dad's team. I'd be in the back of a van at 6, 7, listening to men talk about football. There on the way back. You'd meet at the pub, you'd go back to the pub. That was just what everyone did.
That's what it was,
there'd be a big pan of Scouse on or something back in the pub. The scores would be coming in, you'd be playing pool, pissing about on the table and stuff like that. But you'd be hearing men talk about football and their opinions and what does that mean? So you're always like...
questioning stuff and getting the ground. When did you go to Liverpool then? Did you have a chance to go anywhere else?
No. I can picture that now. It was the dressing room at... St George of England's school in Bootle. They used to have a gravel pitch and we used to train there on a Friday night for Bootle boys. So we'd play Saturday morning but we'd train Friday night. So finish school, go there, and I just remember the the school teacher in Chapman. He was a school teacher at Bedford's old school. He was a big Man United fan, would you believe? And he just came in and just said, name 4 of us. So it was me, Stephen Gould, who was in our school, and John Stannard and Paul Joyce from St Winifred's. We all played in the same Sunday team.
Right, yeah.
We all played for the Merton Villa. But I just remember us all got sort of named. You were going up to Liverpool once a week. Okay. And that came from the scout Harry Hodge, who's obviously sadly passed away now. But he was like the Beatles scout, if you like. So he asked us all to go to Liverpool. Yeah.
Was that as a being in midfield by midfield?
No,
still Where was this in your career then? This, you were a goal scorer. How come you never weighed in it more in your career?
Well, I know. Honestly.
You done all right, to be fair. You done all right.
I did all right. I did all right. But no, I was a centre forward until centre forward at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Until I was 17. My first game for Liverpool reserves was centre forward. At South Portage Avenue, yeah.
Wow, didn't know that. So whose idea was it then? I know, obviously, you're saying yourself, I want to go back and get involved, do you?
That was as a kid.
But whose idea was it at Liverpool?
Well, the reason it sort of changed at Liverpool was I went to Lilleshall, the national school, as a centre forward.
Yeah.
So I was rated as one of the best 3 or 4 centre forwards in England. So there was another couple of us, obviously, in that group. I go back to Liverpool as a centre forward.
Yeah.
But if you remember at the time, Liverpool were playing 3 at the back with Roy Evans. It was this thing of like, because you hear Ajax and Barcelona, they've all got to play the same.
Got to do the same
so
thing.
It wasn't set in stone, but it was a little bit like, we'd like you to do this. So I was a late developer physically. So whereas when I was a centre forward at 10 or 11, I was quick. I was quicker than everyone.
Yeah.
Quicker than everyone. Obviously, I could play, but I was quicker than everyone. Then I went to Lilleshall, and because I was a late developer physically, I became more of like, between the lines, get on the ball, play. So I could do a bit of both. But when I went to sort of Liverpool, and physically, I had no strength or couldn't have the pace. Or, people had, I wouldn't say caught up to me, maybe just gone away from me.
Yeah.
But I started a very good football brain. That was my big thing. So they started playing me in like the role that McManaman had. Like he was a dribbler, but sort of like in between the midfield and the defence. And then we went to play for the Youth Cup. And because the coaches at the time were Steve Highway and Hugh McCauley, they wanted to win the Youth Cup. The other games are about development, but we want to win the Youth Cup. And I was like, we don't want to play 3 at the back, we want to play 4-4-2.
Right, yeah.
So I actually then went centre midfield.
Right.
From there. So it's sort of, I was doing a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And then when we went to the Youth Cup, it was like centre midfield. So if I'm being totally honest, I started for Liverpool in midfield, my debut, and then about a year or 2 later, I'm at centre back.
Yeah.
But I'd never been coached as a midfielder or as a centre back. Really.
You just went into that?
Just went into, because I didn't get there till I played in the Youth Cup final at centre back the first time in my life. I was 18. So it wasn't like I'd had this like thing my whole life of like coached and this is what you need to do and that's what you need to do. Now it was just like, and there wasn't as much coaching then. It was just like work out yourself, that type of thing. So that's where it comes from.
It is mad, isn't it, when you think, I was at Everton and Burn, so the coaching, I see stuff now and I'm like, none of that as a kid, just none of it. Like I know Hugh McCauley, but I remember, there was just nothing. I see the kids now and I'm like jealous. I'm jealous because it was just like, go to Belfield and just be like Mick Lyons going run around that round pitch and I'd be like, why's the pitch round? And I just want to score goals, I won't do anything else. But I remember, did you make your debut against Villa?
My full debut,
Full debut's Villa, wasn't it? That's not me checking anything, by the way, I remember. I'll tell you why I remember, because one of my mates was doing the alarm in our house and he come back, he was a Liverpool fan, he come back from the mats and he was like, oh God, this lad, Carragher, like, it's alright, midfield and all that. I was like, shut up, mate, he'll never do nothing. And but I remember him saying it then, but you obviously in centre midfield, and then I remember you played centre back at Goodison, must have been 98, we have Bakayoko, sure it's Bakayoko's debut. I'm sure you were playing centre back against Duncan, because I remember thinking, Ferguson will have this, you'd fancy Duncan at that time, coming through, and I remember you had a stormer, and I just remember thinking, you should have done better there, Dunk, like you should have, and all this, like, and then obviously when you went into that, because you were right back for a bit, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, that was...
Because a few of my mates used to give you a bit of stick. He'd be like, he's great defensively, but he wasn't great going over the halfway.
Opposite of trend.
But what's mad now is because you were a striker now, I'm thinking, hang on, what's happening? If you're a centre forward and you couldn't go over the halfway line, why? What was
the two reasons why I wasn't that good going forward? I'll be honest with you. One was I used to think of the team too much as a player.
Yeah, okay.
Julian didn't want
You've already showed this, but as a kid, haven't you?
Yeah, but I'd always be thinking, and I think sometimes I'd always be thinking, but if I go there, will I get back in time? Will I get back? It was always like safety first, and sometimes I do regret that a little bit.
Yeah.
I do sometimes think about yourself.
Yeah.
Like just go and have a run.
Go and have a go with yourself. Yeah.
And you know what? I did that when I came back from my broken leg.
Yeah.
I'd watched the team for 4 months, and I knew I'd been getting stick before it, and I was a bit like, no, I'm just going to do not what I want to do. That's the wrong way of putting it, but just almost go. You know what? Just go sometimes. Just go sometimes. But number two, physically, I wasn't an amazing athlete. I was a good athlete, but not fantastic.
Nice, yeah.
And to be a top fullback, got to be a really good athlete. You're just constantly up and down. Yeah. And I was never going to be amazing at that, really. But I probably should have done it a little bit more. But number one, we weren't getting encouraged to do it.
Nice, yeah.
By the manager.
Okay.
And the way we were set up as a team, we had two centre-backs who you couldn't run, really. Yeah. Great players, and showing it, So our thing was about being solid, strong. And we basically had 4 centre-backs. Really. Babel was playing right-back, he wanted to play centre-back. I was a left-back, I wanted to play centre-back. So it was a little bit like that. And I'm not daft. People always talk about this team of Carragher's. I know for plenty of my career, you get to stick off the crowd, and that's what I did, and I've got no problem with that.
But it was mainly just for the attacking side, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that's fair enough. But a lot of that came from the fact that, one, we weren't encouraged to do it, and it's probably a good thing. I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I was always like about the team first, about like, we've got to get our clean sheet. Yeah. Rather than me bombing forward and like putting a cross in or something like that. But listen, I ended up playing for it. I never played fullback before in my life until Liverpool first team put me there. I ended up playing for England. Ended up winning trophies for Liverpool at fullback. So I know I got a little bit of criticism, but I'm actually quite proud of what I did. Yeah.
Never played this. I'm just thinking.
No, I know, but I'm defending myself a little bit in that. I'm thinking, I never played fullback before in my life. Went there at 22. Ended up playing in a World Cup for England there. Won trophies for Liverpool there. Played left and right back. And did a pretty decent job.
Didn't do too bad, did you? No, didn't do too bad. Was you comfortable at centre-back the most, though, would you say?
Oh, yeah,
of course. Obviously, you were a good centre-back.
Yeah. But the problem is when you play for like a team you want to win right now. Yeah. When you're a goalkeeper or a centre-back, it's very difficult to go in there as a youngster. Yeah. So, because when you're a young player, no matter what position you're at, you're still finding your way, you're still making a mistake. And if you make a mistake in a goalkeeper or a centre-back and you haven't really got that consistency week in, week out, you can cost the team. So that's why young goalkeepers, everyone always worries about them. Everyone worries about young centre-backs. Now, you can look at other young centre-backs and say, oh, he's done really well. But you don't really see young centre-backs at the top teams. Like a Rio Ferdinand's a perfect example. He had a great sort of grounding at West Ham, where good side. But, they're expected to lose a few games here and there, and go to Leeds. You got John Terry, the flip side of that. Obviously comes through at Chelsea as well, fair enough.
They're few and far between.
And he's probably the best centre-back we've seen in the Premier League. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you've got to be top draw, and at that age, I was very good, but I wasn't someone who was going to go right into the England team or nothing like that. I wasn't a superstar. Yeah. So, Encho and Ipia came in, and if I didn't adapt to playing to fullback, I'd have had to have left Liverpool.
Yeah. Simple as,
Yeah, so I had to almost wait till Benitez came in and go from there.
Obviously, as a younger player, and you're making, you're a striker, then you're a midfielder, and you're a fullback, how do you get through? But you must have had tough times because, as a young pro, okay, you just say, oh, brilliant, young pro, I'm at a club and I'm in my city and it's not the team support, but, I'm there and doing all that. But how did you come through like some of those tough times? Because I guess you want to play, don't you? Everyone wants to play, surely. And you talking to you, got to know you a bit over the last couple of years, your character, the way you are. How did that sit with you? Because you of like, I want to play all the time. Is that why do you think you were so kind of open to moving positions, do you think? Because you wanted to play, or?
Well, it wasn't about, I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
You know, really. And this thing about, I did play, I didn't never not play.
Yeah. I mean, the established, like, at first, like, how'd you come through that bit? Because you see kids who, they get in, get a little taste, and then they disappear, and you go, look like you had loads of potential. Like, what's happened with you? I'm in, and then you just find your way in.
I was...
that character, do you think, just from you?
Yeah. I knew players come to Liverpool, don't care who they were, he wouldn't have my personality or character, I just knew it.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't. You know, that thing of like every single day training like it was a game, and just like it was impossible for Uli not to pick me. He couldn't not pick me. You know what I mean? You wouldn't watch us in training and going, I don't want him, he's not going to be getting the team. It'd be a case of like, he's got to be in the team.
He's got to play.
Yeah. And it wasn't, I mean, I know I played different positions, but it wasn't like a case of Alan Harper. When he was at Everton, where you go, we play here, and then when everyone's fit, he doesn't play.
Yeah.
I still played when everyone was fit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a case of changing positions every 2 weeks. It'd be a bit like, I was right back for the season.
Yeah.
Then I was left back for the season. Then we'd buy my left back, and I'd be right back for the next season. You know, it wasn't a case of like, 3 games in, but when everyone's fit, you're not playing. I was in. It was just that.
If it had been that, do you think you would have moved yourself?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Just to play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I could never be a sub. I couldn't have. It just, not because, in an arrogant way.
Just for yourself.
My mentality, it'd be like, I'm training all week, I've got a game at the weekend. I couldn't have not played. I just, no.
Do you think it's mad now, the way football, we'll come back to it, but the way football is, where it does seem like a lot of people are just happy to be like, I'll get on. I'll play every now and again. Can you understand that mentality?
I can understand it because most players are like that. I was a little bit different.
Yeah, okay.
I know that, and that's why I got to the level I got to. It wasn't all about my ability or physicality or pace or, you know, things like that. It was me mental strength, the way I saw the game, the way I wanted to play every week. And my last season at Liverpool, I played 25 games. Now, for a lot of players, that's enough.
Yeah.
For me, at 35, wasn't enough. So I retired. Do you know what I mean? So when we look at like James Milner for Liverpool now.
Yeah.
He's probably played 25 games this season. And he'll stay again next season. Or he's probably done that for the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it for one.
No.
So as soon as my games went to sort of 25, it was a bit like,
I'm done.
No, I can't train all week and then not have a game. It was like, nah, I'm out of this.
Again, that's you, isn't it?
I couldn't have done anything.
Desire.
Yeah.
When you were at Liverpool, I know I keep mentioning that name, I'll be getting a bit of stuff. Now, when you were at Liverpool, knowing the way you are, were you sat in that dressing room, just looking at some players and thinking, why aren't you the same as me? Like, you know, if they've had ability, because I know you won everything at Liverpool and you barred the league, but so you were obviously very successful and played for England, but there must have been times in that Liverpool side where you had really good players who were in there, but you were looking and thinking, why haven't you got the desire I have? Because it seems like, as fans, when we see squads of, you know, or you see players at clubs and you think, they should be doing better than they're doing, just don't seem bothered. And I know they must be bothered, because I think to get where you are, you've got to be bothered. But was that there? Could you pick people out and go, he just hasn't got what we?
You're right. You've got what you have is you almost probably have 3 groups where you look at certain players who are probably like me, but there's not many like me in that. Like, I do think the way you think about Everton, I think that about Liverpool. I'd be thinking, what are the fans thinking here? Or you'd almost got to the stage with me as a player where you were playing for the club, you weren't playing for yourself, you were playing for the club and the supporters. It did feel like that. I always say I didn't play for the manager, I played for Liverpool.
Yeah, I've heard
you know
that,
And then you have the group who are like, they're not too obsessed with the club, but they've got their own personal pride, and that's fine. Because as long as it's your doing and you're going on the pitch, and that's, I understand. I might have been like that if I played for a different team and didn't have the connection with the city, or if I went abroad.
But you'd still give everything.
You give everything
for yourself.
But it's not like, I'm not, when we've got beat, thinking, oh my God, we're at the club going here, the support, what are we all thinking? You know that support mentality. And then you've got the the ones who you sometimes don't give a fuck, really. You know, and every club's got them.
Yeah, oh God.
And I think it's probably, you know, when your teams are losing and not doing well, you have this thing that they're all like that. But there will be 2 or 3 in every session who don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, that's just, you've got to accept that. But when I say you've got to accept it, there's not a lot I can do about it. But if I was a manager, I couldn't accept that. I'd have a massive problem with people like that.
I want to come on to that in a bit. that side of it. Obviously, I've seen you say things like, because of the way you are, sometimes you would obsess too much about results, and it ruined, as fans, it ruins your weekend. Obviously, your team loses, but as a player, how did you cope with that? Because if you have that bad result and you're taking it home as a fan as well, or just, I imagine you probably would have had, even though you're saying it mightn't have been the same playing for a different club, I actually think it probably would have been with you, just because of the way you are. But did you have to almost learn to cope with that, or did you never cope with that from right the way through till the end of your career? Not really.
I mean, you find it hard. I mean, I know how you feel as a fan, because I used to feel like that as a fan, and I still feel about it at Liverpool now today.
Yeah.
That when you go home and you've lost, it's not going home and losing. It's when you get to bed, you go to bed, you sleep, and you wake up, and the first thing you think about is that result.
It's in your stomach, yeah.
It's in your stomach, isn't it? And I had that as a player, and it was like, you wake up and you go, oh.
Straight away.
Oh, God.
There we go. Yeah.
And it's like, and you think you'll never get over it, don't you?
Yeah.
And it's 3 or 4 days it takes to get over it. I'm a bit like that with Liverpool now.
Yeah.
You know, you've had a bad result, or you've lost a big game. It's like you wake up in the morning, you go, oh, you know, just like, but I couldn't get rid of that as a player.
Yeah.
I saw a psychologist over it. It was funny.
Did it help?
You know what? It didn't change it. But I used to see the psychologist probably 3 or 4 times a season. And it was just nice talking to someone.
Just to get it off, yeah.
Because it's no one else knows when I say what you're going through, honest to God, it's the best job in the world. You get, you know, playing football, training every day, getting a few quid. But no one really knows the sort of like, not the pressure, I don't know.
There is pressure, though.
Yeah, but that thing of like, well, however you deal with it. And I was just beating myself up over results. And you know, not playing well. And this wasn't when I was playing poorly. This was when I was in my peak. Because I was putting that much pressure on myself. Because I knew I was in my peak. I knew I was at my best. And I was thinking, I can go up against most players here now in my position, at home or abroad. You can just see that by the results we're getting in the Champions League. So I used to almost go into games thinking, I can't have a bad game. I'm almost, not too good to have a bad game, but okay. I'm almost like, I'm seen as one of like the main players for Liverpool, and like if I don't play well, good job we're going to get beat. You know, so I'd almost be like, and even if we never kept a clean sheet, even if the goal wasn't my fault, I'd be a bit like, I was obsessed with keeping clean sheets. So yeah, and then I used to speak to a fella 2 or 3 times a year, but we got to the bottom of like, it's just the way you are. You're not going to change. You know, there's not a lot you can really do about it.
So we were just talking about obviously the psychologist there for the times when you couldn't get over it. What was it like when you? Again, I don't really want to go too much into this, but you know, you did win the Champions League and all that. What was the pressure like going into that? Obviously, because it's built and Liverpool had a tough run all the way through, didn't he? And you got to Istanbul. Like, what pressure-wise were you? Because I'm just thinking about the psychology of it. You're saying, wake up feeling sick if we didn't win or whatever. And I know you were like kind of going, it's not really pressure. It is pressure because if you're feeling it like a supporter is, you're carrying everyone's thing on your shoulders then. So what was that like for you? Was it okay going into big games for you? Or did you feel it?
It wasn't something that stopped me playing or worried me going into games.
Yeah. Was it just the aftermath more? Was that?
Yeah. It was all, you know, going into big games exciting and that thing of like, come on.
There we go.
You know, I used to love playing in, you know, big away games and you know, and going into that cauldron if you like. But
so what was that like 3-0 down at half time?
I mean, going into the game, I wasn't that nervous.
Yeah.
That was more like, I couldn't believe we were there.
Yeah.
It was almost
I couldn't either, to be honest with you.
But it was like, oh my God, I'm playing the Champions League final. I never thought I'd get to that level.
Yeah.
You know, I'm obsessed with football, so I know he's won all the Champions League, the teams, they have the great players and managers, and I knew he was a good player playing for Liverpool, but I didn't think I could ever get to that. So to get there was like, I remember walking on Crosby Beach the night before, going for a walk, the night before we played Chelsea at home in the semi-final.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't thinking about the game and thinking I'm up against Drogba or this or whatever. It was thinking, I'll know tomorrow if I'm in the Champions League final. You know that thing of like, I can't believe this.
Yeah,
you know
that.
And
was it an excitement or was it a...
No, it was a bit of exciting. As if like, Champions League final. Just like, couldn't believe that we'd have a chance of getting there. And so I wasn't that nervous going into the game. It was more, it wasn't like thinking, oh, we've got to win. It was more like, you can't enjoy it, but almost like, wow, just be part of it. But the thing about losing 3-0 at half time and it being really bad is the fact that you can't enjoy it then. Even because I think sometimes you can. The Champions League final is that big, and it's that big of a run to get there, and it's seen all over the world. If you lose it, I think you can still look back and go, that was great, that run we went on, we went there, the trips for the fans, you know, the final, the build-up, and you can go, you know what, 2 teams in Europe when you get to the final. So sometimes, you know, when a team loses a Champions League final, it's not like I think you can still be proud of what you've achieved.
Yeah, of course,
And so I didn't have that really sick, nervous feeling going into it. But, you know what happened?
We won't go too heavy on that, but obviously it wasn't a bad outcome for you. Hearing you talk then all about, you touched on it before, about the way you were and seeing some other players and all that. Watching you, obviously, through your career, always thought the natural step you were going to become a manager. And I don't know whether... I think you just see some players and you just go, he's defo going to be a manager. He's going to be just the way because the coaching on the pitch, you could see watching it in derby games, you'd see the way you were organising everybody. You see it with some players, they organise everyone. Others play the game and just cope with what they're doing. You were always organising, you were always wound up for derby games. And I imagine you were like that for all the other Liverpool games. I didn't watch it, but I'm saying I'd see it. So I always thought, definitely, he's a manager. Absolutely a manager. So you're in that last season, you said you played 25 games, and that was like, I'm done, because I ain't becoming the sub. How hard was it an easy decision for you to go, I am done? Or did you wrestle with it? Was it like, I can prove myself still? And on the back of that as well, had you been thinking about coaching at that time?
Oh, yeah. I'd been thinking about coaching right throughout my career and management.
Okay.
I used to always look at managers and, you know, and because I watch games, I think, why does the manager do that?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you play him? Or why wouldn't you play that system? Or I always thought like that. Getting to the end of my career, it was coaching or management or TV or punditry.
Yeah.
I had a little go of both. So when I was still playing, I did the Euros in 2012.
Yeah. And
I was doing my badges at the time with Conor Cody's group and John Flanagan's group.
Right, yeah.
So I was coaching them when they were 15, 16. And I didn't enjoy it.
Didn't you know?
No. And a lot of people say you don't, and then the further it goes, the more you do, because it becomes better, basically. This is like the real basics of it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I was driving up to Liverpool's academy thinking, oh, can't wait for this session. Yeah. I was a bit like, oh, it's almost like you're getting it done. And to be fair, I wish I'd have probably got more of it done. Okay. Gone to the A licence, gone to the Pro licence. And Gary Neville's done that.
Yeah.
Didn't do him any good.
No, I was going to say, yeah. Let's say about
that. Sure that's making the edit, isn't it?
That's 100% in the edit. That's going out on Twitter.
But he always said to me, he said, you should just do it for your own, even for like the TV, your own sort of learning. And he's probably right, really. But I just got the book for I enjoyed the TV. And I think it suits me more.
Okay.
I do. I love talking about football.
Yeah.
Arguing, debating, opinions, you know, getting deep in it Monday Night Football. So it gives me everything I want, really. I see myself as not like almost in between coaching and TV.
Yeah.
Really, the shows that we do, if you like. But no, I mean, I just started, the more I looked at management, it just looked like hassle. And a lot of young coaches I spoke to, they said, oh, you're bogged down in computers and paperwork and writing sessions down. And he said, I was like, oh, fuck that.
Don't want that. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And also, do you think there's too much?
Well, that might be more at the academy level, kids coming through, and I get that, but you get that a lot from young coaches who are starting off. It's like the work you've got to do, and you're always here, like, I just want to be out on the grass, I just want to be out coaching, that's what I love doing, but, you know, there's a lot of work goes into it, and the pay that they get, I mean, listen, it would have been different for me, I'd have probably gone into it, maybe a lower league role, or something maybe a little bit higher up at Liverpool, but there was never a job offer, so there was never a decision.
There anyway.
No, so it was like, and I got an offer to do TV, and I thought, I'm going right in at the top here at TV, the best show on the telly, Monday Night Football, or I'm probably going to have to learn the ropes, lower down the leagues, or probably at Liverpool's academy, and I thought, just go straight in. I'm moving house as well, it's a simple thing, but kids in school, am I going to move my family? No, they're not going to come with me. And I look at Stevie. He's had a couple of jobs where he's moved on his own, basically, and almost been commuting and being. And I'm like, I'm just not.
You're not that.
I just want to be around my kids, watch me play football. I'm thinking travelling rounds, and you can get sacked like that the next day. And I just
not for you.
I had too good an offer on the table in terms of Sky and the punditry.
No, it makes loads of sense because obviously you're a manager or a coach as well. You could be doing perfect all week. Everything you do is brilliant. So them lads cross that white line and you're losing games. You're right. You're out on your ear, and you obviously you're very city centric, aren't you? You do a lot for Liverpool. You're here, you know, going here, there. I've got to go and live up in Scotland, or I've got a job in London, or that doesn't really seem like you, to be fair. So, but you have got the next best thing, haven't you? Really, if you're not, and without the stress, without as much stress as what you're getting. So what?
A little bit of stress.
No, of course, yeah, you know,
a little bit of stick, a little bit of social media.
Yeah, but that's because you just bounce it off, don't you? So it's not really in order. How much preparation do you do for your punditry then? Because obviously you're at the top of it.
It's funny really, because I think people think we're sort of like bogged down in stats and looking at all, like it's not like that.
Yeah.
Well, it can be if you want it to be. We get like a stat pack for every game.
Yeah.
But I just think my own work's watching the match, watching matches that everyone else watches, reading every day. Yeah. So get up, papers on my iPad, 3 or 4 papers, you know, what are the managers saying, what are the quotes, what's the stories, you know, the matches on tonight, watching the game, what are people talking about. I'll watch every TV programme, so it won't be a case of like bogged down in like...
But when you started knowing what you're like though, and that thing of I'm going to be the best at everything I do, did you do that at the start to make sure I've got to make a good impression?
No, I just
or were you just confident
everything.
in...
Well, confident, but I mean, I watch everything on football.
Yeah, so you know anyway,
I'll never miss match of the day. I'll never miss a live game.
Right.
I won't. You know, even
that is your work, isn't it?
Yeah, that's your work. So if I'm away, say for instance, I'm away and England's are playing.
Yeah.
But then at the weekend I'm working.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to Sky Plus the game and I'll go through the game when I get back. Yeah. You know, so I'm always like watching games. You know, sometimes. Benitez used to say this. He said that you're watching it or you're analysing it. And there's a difference.
There is,
And sometimes I will just watch a game because I don't want to get bogged down in like everything. I'm just thinking, I just want to watch a game here.
It's the game of football.
Yeah. But then sometimes when it's all of the time, if we've got Monday Night Football, I'm analysing every sort of like BT's half-12 game. Match of the day is on.
Right, yeah.
There's obviously Sky and have a live game at 5:30, so I'll watch all them games. I might be doing one of them on the Sunday. Yeah. But if I'm not, and I've got that full weekend, I will go through sort of like all of it.
All of the games.
And then, say for instance, so you don't know what you're going to do on a Monday Night Football.
Right.
It's whatever the story is.
Yeah.
Now, the story could be the first game of the weekend, could be the last game, you don't know. When I say the story, it's like that's the thing that everyone's talking about.
Yeah.
So once I get a gist of what everyone's talking about, or what we if it's a big game, everyone's going to be talking about that.
Yeah.
More often than not. But if, you know, it could be Evan. It could be like the result. I'm going to say that people always think that we're biased and we go for this team or that team. It's not. As a football fan, there's probably 2 or 3 results every weekend that jump out at you. And it could be like a small team. You're thinking, fucking hell, they beat them or that happened out or they lost there. And you just know that's it.
That's the one, yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
So I'll if that's been a live game over the weekend, even though I've watched it, I'll watch it again.
Okay.
And almost like stop, pause, boom, boom. I don't need to watch the full games. I'm experienced enough now to know what the story is. So, and I'm only going to use 4 clips.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like, are we doing it on the goals? Are we doing it in the first 20 minutes? Or is this... So if you were doing Newcastle Tottenham from yesterday, it's the first 20 minutes.
Of course, yeah. It was done and dusted, wasn't it? Yeah.
But I'm trying to find out why... Did something happen before the first goal? Did something happen in between? What was... So I'm trying to find things that I think a coach would be looking for, rather than... I always class it, that's not a criticism. Matches, they have to show the goals.
Of course.
They have to show the big incidents. They kind of go into the detail that we go into. People know our show, so I wouldn't just do the goals. Unless the analysis on them from the other shows, I think, have they not seen that? So I do them. So I do love that thing of trying to find something that no one else has found in the analysis. But it's getting harder, not because of the other shows, because of social media.
Yeah.
There's that many teams. It almost feels like every club's got 4 or 5 people who want to analyse their team to death. Brilliant. And to be honest, I follow a lot of them. Because I think I can pick up things because they know their club better than me. So I do follow a lot of those accounts on social media, just for my own education and my own sort of knowledge of that team.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we do on our thing. I'll go through stuff and go like, what's happening here? Why are we doing this or whatever? But it does lead from that though, and I think that is like I don't think there's enough of that there. I think the Monday night bit, that could almost be like a thing where it's twice a week for 2 hours going through every game. No, I know it's giving you more work. You know,
well, we've got a we are talking about different things. We've got a new studio for next season. Which will be pretty wow. I've seen it. And we think, well, how can we utilise that more? Right, and what can we do? So we're just thinking of ideas. We'll get things together.
Sometimes you bow down almost with the game, aren't you? And you'll do the bit before.
Well, we get criticised for not doing the fans of the team. You're thinking, have you never seen Monday Night Football before? So,
but that's why I think it could almost be its own show, though. That thing of forget about the game's the game, and the analytical stuff. I think most people would love that.
I think fans want that now, don't they? They expect that. And they don't like, because of social media now, everyone's got an opinion, and rightly so. They want more than just going, and that was a great goal. And, and a lot of criticism comes from pundits not putting that maybe detail into certain games, and you can't get away with it now because of supporters. And not just social media, the knowledge of supporters in terms of they're getting used to that. There's more stuff out there, the data, the analysis, every game's on TV now. You can find your own club's highlights, and there's a lot more scrutiny on the game now. Yeah,
I mean it's brilliant, and obviously the way it's gone is, and that I think because of the likes of what you do, has encouraged more people to do that. Look at this, and they said that. But I think there's definitely, for me, there's more scope for that kind of stuff. I want to ask you this one because I'm interested to. Do you think in the role you've got that you should be allowed is the right thing, but when like Liverpool are playing, that you should be sat there as a co-commentator? It's not just you, Gary Neville for Manchester United or thingy. How do you feel like that?
I know that gets said a lot on social media. And again, it doesn't bother me.
That's why I'm asking you, because it is out there. It bounces around.
It's like
because you can't be truly.
No, but then you
neutral, can you?
I know what you say that, but then I get stick off Liverpool fans if Liverpool lose on co-commentary. It's like you've got to reflect the moment. That's what co-commentary is. Now, I can only say what I believe to be an opinion. Now, if it's unconscious bias at times, I can't control that then. No. Maybe, so I'm not, I don't know. But I know I'm not going out my way, because if I said something that I didn't believe, it's just...
not authentic then, is it?
It's not authentic, but then also, if that instinct then came up again, and I said what I really thought, everyone would say, well, you said that the other week.
And it stays, doesn't it?
So it's a bit like...
it's not like you're in a pub and you can go, I don't know whether I said that. Someone will go, this is exactly what you said.
What did he say in social? We've got receipts.
That's what it is, isn't it? You've got no chance.
But listen, I know from an Everton point of view, there was the Derby game. And I got a lot of... Sky got a lot of...
You were a little bit over that day. You were. And
I don't think I was.
We have a laugh, but you...
No, I went after the Charles.
I know you did.
But was that the first time I'd ever gone after a charge? I can't stand watching him on a football pitch. I'd said it before in other Everton games. And when I said he went down, I went, get up.
Yeah.
He'd gone down twice already. One was when the ball hit him on the head. He headed the cross away and he went down. And then there was another one.
Does it when you head it on that bit, though? You must know.
Oh, yeah. And he went down again and he did have a back. He went over on his ankle. But that wasn't me. I just missed him going over on his ankle. I thought he's gone down again. This is 4 times in like 10 minutes. Yeah. So it wasn't like a thing against Everton Liverpool. It was a Charleston.
Man, he winds you up.
Oh, he winds everyone up.
He winds you up, though, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. And the thing that winds me up is that my thing, when some people get wound up by diving, I don't.
Okay.
It doesn't bother me.
I get wound up when Salah throws his arms back as if he's been...
Yeah,
you know.
But every player's got 2 or 3 players in their team. If they get a chance to get a penalty, they'll get it. And when we're in the crowd, we're all going, go down. We are, aren't we?
Yeah, of course we are.
But I've got no problem with someone trying to gain an advantage. And people say, oh, the game shouldn't be like that, but get in the real way. That's what it is. Yeah. I've got a problem where people go down pretending they're hurt. It's like, you've gone down, you've got your free kick. Or you haven't.
Just get up.
Get up. We all know there's nothing wrong with you. Yeah. So that's my bugbear.
But you got done that day because there actually wasn't there.
Yeah, but he'd gone down 4 times before it. So that wasn't like a thing about, oh, it's the derby or whatever. It was a Charleston. That's what it basically is. But listen, everyone, and that's another thing, people in punditry now going into it are terrified to do co-commentary.
To say it, just in case.
No, they're terrified because that is the one thing. Whoever does co-commentary on a game, they'll be trending on Twitter. Because those 2 teams...
Whichever way, you're not happy
even if I'm commentating on Man United, Tottenham or something, those 2 teams will just think you hate their team and anything you say. So it puts a lot of people off doing it. I mean, again, I love doing co-commentary. Yeah. Love it. And I know the thing about people saying, oh, when Liverpool score, he's like, and then Liverpool have got to go, or whatever. But where that came from is that, as I said, as a co-commentator, you've got to learn. If a last-minute winning goal goes in, it's like, in the stadium, it's like the roof comes off. Mm. You can't go, Liverpool, or, that was a good, you've got to go, and that season when Liverpool, I think, nearly won, that was probably the first season I was doing co-commentary a lot. Liverpool kept scoring the last minute. Yeah, they did it against Tottenham, Newcastle, Everton. They did that about 4 or 5 times. I was commentating, you're like, you've got to do it. Yeah. But then there was one last season. It wasn't a last-minute goal, but West Ham beat Liverpool. I don't know if it was last season or the year before. But it was like the whole stadium and the goal went in just went, and you have to like reflect it.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember one of my mates the next day going, oh, you like they're going mad when they scored. I'm a bit like... I was like, I've got to reflect.
So you're getting it from everywhere.
Yeah, so to be fair, when people say to me, you can keep saying it doesn't bother me, it won't change me.
No.
But it is. But listen, I get it. Yeah. People say it about Gary, people say it about me, and maybe at times, maybe it's true. But what I would say on the flip side is that we're probably harder on our own teams as well. Yeah. When things aren't going well, then maybe we will be on another team because you probably are a little bit more emotionally involved. And as I said, I wake up in the morning going, oh,
there we go. I want to ask you this: the way football is now, are you happy with the way it is, with the money and with everything else, or is there anything you think? I know it's probably unrealistic; it's probably gone too far now. But is there anything that you'd like to see that would almost pull everyone a little bit closer together again, to show that to give people?
It's difficult for me because if I start talking about, oh, there's too much money in the game and this and that, people go, you work for Sky and they charge us this and they put TV games here. So it's a difficult one for me to fully get involved in because I get that. Yeah. This game's on a Monday night and we can't get back and we've got to travel there. Listen, I get all that. But in terms
just mean
of
like a whole thing of like...
Yeah, I just think there's too much football. And I just think, I love football, but these things about like the Nation League that's added in, the World Club Championship, all these things, and it probably affects the top players more than anyone. And I just think we treat them like cattle. Yeah. I've said that before, and it's all about where can we make more money, and I get that. And anyone who says, oh, it's always been like that, they're right. Well, I'm naive that it's probably ever going to change, but it is about money. That could be like TV deals, playing more games, wages of players, and you'll get the story about, Tommy Lawton used to get the bus to Goodison or something, you know what I mean? You're like, listen, the world's changed, and I'm not one of those players.
But just the way it is, though, because it almost feels like some clubs now are just too far ahead for anyone to get near them.
I don't want that. I don't want clubs going 25 years, whether that's Everton, West Ham, who else?
Villa,
even Villa, even like Tottenham. I think we've won trophy in 25 years. It's like, I don't want football to be like that. I mean, but when I was
is there any way you can see that?
No, I don't. Yeah. I mean, I just don't know how
it's gone too far.
Yeah, it does feel like it has gone too far. Where it's like, what is the real hope of let's be honest about it, Everton winning a trophy? Really, if I'm not taking the piss, nothing like that. It's like, I mean, come on, you're going to end up playing probably right now. If you get so you're going to play City in the final, aren't you? Or someone or United or Liverpool, somebody spent like hundreds of millions, and it's like, I just think it's so tough now. And how would you change it? I don't know how it can be changed. And how? I mean,
difficult, isn't it?
The only thing I can think is, does the Champions League become bigger? Which it is probably getting bigger. Can we get more teams in it? So maybe they get that revenue of like the European stuff and the money. It's like when an owner comes in like at Everton and you spend a few quid. It's like, I know everyone gets excited, but even if it does go well, it's even Newcastle now, right? Yeah. They've done brilliant this season. I'm still not getting like, I'm like, I know you've got the money, but it's like, there's a top player going to pick an Everton if you've got money, or a Newcastle, or when Aston Villa, someone came in there and it was like, we got money. And then at West Ham, a fella from Iceland coming out, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. As a player, an ex-player, or a supporter of one of those big teams who you suppose you're going to take their place, I'm a bit like, I'm not sure.
You'd have to do it for a few years before
a long time. I mean, you know, Newcastle's done great this season. I'd be very surprised that I think they get top 4 this season. I've said that for a long time, but starting next season, I don't think many people put Newcastle in the top 4. No chance. No. I just think it's so difficult to break in there. And maybe I've got life-changing money, which is what you need, which is what Chelsea had, and which is what City had.
But it has changed. The rules have changed.
But the rules have changed now, and
it's difficult, isn't it?
I just think, I think it's very, very tough. And again, I'm lucky I'm involved with one of those clubs who has got a great chance of winning things. But to be a supporter of the other clubs, it's sad. Yeah, it is. It is. When you
almost need a Super League. Jamie.
Okay, cheers, Baz. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, mate. There you go. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done it. Big thanks to Jamie for doing this. And we'll see you later.